I know it's not on the agenda tonight, but you are going to do something about preliminary site approval for Rubino Brothers?
But the only thing scheduled tonight is to schedule it for a public hearing.
Okay, should I wait then to address you on that matter?
You can bring it up tonight, you can bring it up the next time, whatever you feel comfortable.
Sorry?
Or both.
Well, I just put a plan of scene in your head. As you know, the Rubinos are going to build all around Saddlewood, down Bronson, behind James, and there isn't anybody really happy about it, to be honest with you. In Saddlewood, Don Smith owns the property behind us currently until you give him the approval, then he'll sell it to the Rubino Brothers. The last 4 townhouses in Saddlewood on Carriage Lane, the lot line goes right to the end of their deck in the back, right on the deck. Don Smith, for some reason, got approval to do that. All right, now he owns the land, but before he sells the land, I think he should be responsible to give the association 15 feet at least behind that deck, which is town code. I mean, it goes right to the lot line.
We're aware of it and we're addressing it. I can tell you that.
All right.
We're aware of it and we're addressing it.
Also, the drainage issue is horrible. I was going to present you pictures now. You might as well, this way you have a chance to take a look at them. These were taken this spring and gave it to the planning board to look at. Also, the other thing to really think about, they want to put a road right down the middle of Saddlewood Development, T-boning right into Paddock Lane, right, which is in front of our townhouse, which means that they'll have backyards, because they're going to go sideways. They're not going to face us, they're going to go sideways. There'll be side yards facing Paddock Lane, and there'll be backyards facing Carriage Lane. Now, if you spend $300,000 for your house on Carriage Lane, and all of a sudden you have a backyard in front of you, and you're going to have a backyard behind you, I don't really think that's right at all. Now, Joe Rubino said he would try to be creative and put barriers in between, but before you pass anything, please look at his plans to see what he's going to do before you say, yeah, go ahead and do it. You know, it just needs to be done. So, I mean, really, think about it. A new road, which was never in existence ever, you know, until you pass this plan, and it's going to come right at us, and it's going to go, they can go someplace else and put the road, restructure the townhouse or someplace. Bad enough, there's going to be 91 patio homes around us. Now, you know, they're going to cut right between us, right in the heart of Saddlewood Development, which I don't think is right at all.
Too many.
You know, it's just a lot of things. All right, and I'll cut it short at that, and I'll be back again, hopefully.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anytime you want to come into town hall, make an appointment and talk about it, you can.
Okay.
Okay?
All right,
Thank you.
Patricia Nashmeyer, 888 The Circle, Lewiston. With regard to the project that is being proposed to be passed in the escarpment area, we are asking the board not to approve the project. It will directly impact the quality of life. We feel like many of us that we've been tried by the planning board or whoever's trying to approve it, the Rubino Brothers, they're trying to dumb us down. The original project called for 144 homes with the homes that are existing in Saddlewood. The new project, they're trying to tell us that it has been lessened, a footprint on the area is actually 175, because they're trying to take out the homes that are already existing. It is 144 on the original plan, and now it's up to 175. They've taken away a major part of the area that they were going to build in because it's been proposed a wetland. Now the project is an extreme dense area with many more homes in a small area. So we're asking, you know, as it will directly impact the quality of life of the surrounding residents in the town of Lewiston. It's a direct impact on the environment, the traffic, and the burden on the existing infrastructure. So is there anything else anybody else wants to add? All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll move on to department head statements. We'll start with Tim Masters. No? Marty, you're on the agenda. You're on the agenda. The attorneys are on the agenda. Jeff Ritter, anything? No? Mike Townsend? You're on the agenda. Mike Dash, no?
To the agenda.
Okay. And Dave Train.
Not on the agenda, and I have nothing to add. We're set.
Bernie?
Yeah.
You want to speak?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. We had a meeting with...
Bernie, come out to the microphone. And if you're forgetting that static, just talk loud.
I'll talk about it. I'm loud now. Okay, we had a meeting with Councilman Morreale last week. We went over some of the department needs, and today we submitted a multimodal project for the highway department. It's a $50,000 grant. It's a pre-application, so we should be getting some paperwork after that. We also met with Tim Masters. We're going to put in to the New York State Archives a software that he can use to take pictures, transfer notes, building permits, and include that into the ECMS system that we currently have in place now. So that would be a nice add-on. It's 100% funded. There's no match to it. We're also working on some NYSERDA projects. We're going to put in, as soon as it opens, which should be within the next couple of weeks, a charging station, a 2-port charging station, and an electric car. This will give us 2 more commitments for the larger $250,000 grant that's available through NYSERDA and through National Grid. So we've got things in motion to get pre-qualified for these things, so that's a good thing. We've got 2 DASNY grants that we're getting some information on. Our engineer will go over our hydrant and heavy-duty truck tonight, and then we have a meeting scheduled tomorrow for our police building, and that'll be the second information that we'll have to have for that application. We have a second meeting scheduled with Councilman Morreale for our recreational cars and our plant. As a matter of fact, we've been working on a combined heat and power grant for the plant for Jeff. And this is to provide heat for the digester and shades out some of the equipment. It's just timing is perfect because the grant is open again. So we actually have a lot of the data ready to go. We're going to meet with Jeff and get that all taken care of. The Greenway is, the reports are due in September, so we'll be getting all those in. The Lewiston pathway final design was approved by the supervisor a couple of weeks ago, and they are planning on a spring 2018 start date. So, great news. Just got to live long enough to see this, so that's really good. The JCAP grant is due October 15th, and I know that our attorneys are working on getting that resolved. And that's all I have for you, but I'll take any questions.
Can you keep running a bit and just adjust the grant with respect to the courts?
Sure.
Revitalization.
Bernie, one of the things that was added to my agenda happened to be the 2 grants that we received 2 years in a row for the renovation of this room. And as you're aware, we had some issues with the bidding process. We only had one person respond to one of the bids that we put out. There's been some miscommunication as to the expiration of those funds. I know we have, and how much do we have in hand right now?
Exactly, I don't know off the top of my head. I think we've got about 37, does that sound right?
It's 38, but I couldn't tell you.
About 38,000.
And my specific question is whether those funds, if we don't use them between now and September, there are 2 concerns. Number 1, that the money will have to go back if we don't use it. And number 2, that if we don't use it, we can't apply for the 3rd round of grants available coming up in the next, I think, 60 days.
Historically, our understanding was anytime we had a capital improvement project that exceeded the amount of money that we were awarded, we can sort of encumber it over a couple of years. They really want us to use it now. So right now, in talking to JCAP, they would like us to see it completed by the end of the year. This way we can tell them that we've got it done and it's done. If we commit to that and we can move forward, then yes, we can apply for another round of funding.
So there is a chance we could lose it, is what you're saying?
Yeah, if we don't act on it, we're gonna have something, then we gotta send it back.
So that brings us to our dilemma, because we put something out to bid and we have 1 response. And Ryan had responded that from a legal perspective, it would be much better if we had 3 responses to the bid, correct?
Comply with the law with our 3 bids. Not with one at this point.
But we did everything that we were supposed to do, we only got one bid.
Well, I mean,
We could put this out 20 times and still only get one bid.
So my concern, maybe,
we could, but I'd like to see it put out 20 times. Right now, we put it out to 6 people, and we got 1 response back. We followed up with those 6 contractors, and still only have a single response.
if possibly, for a brief executive session, I know that Jeff is already approved, but I didn't think about it until just now, possibly have an executive session to consult with attorneys with possible action afterwards, and discuss it, because I certainly don't want to see that $37,000 going back. 28? No. 28,000. We lost 10 grand already. I certainly don't want to lose it, and as Mr. Morreale has mentioned, I mean, we've complied with everything. I just want to, and this is a project that we've been sitting on for a long time.
I mean, we asked Donna to make phone call, but I think that's unethical for her to call people that come in and give us a bid. I don't, in my opinion, she's an elected official. She's actually soliciting people to come in to give us a bid on that. I don't think that's proper either. I mean, we posted, we could keep posting it.
I don't see any issues with that. What she did was follow up with people that we had sent them to already. I don't think there's any issue with her making those phone calls.
I talked to one contractor, and he said, "Thank you very much for the heads up, but I'm simply too busy." Well, give him a bid.
Just give us a bid.
He doesn't even want to take time to make the bid, put the bid together. That
They're
takes
busy.
time, that's paperwork time.
And I spoke to 3 of these people, and they're not interested in putting in a bid. I mean, I don't know what else to do for them.
We can't beg people to bid the job. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
Aren't there circumstances, and I don't know certainly, but aren't there circumstances where if there is only one vendor?
There is, they're like a sole source.
Right.
The problem is, if the state comes in and looks and says, you can only get 1 bid for drywall work, I mean, there's,
It's just too small, they're busy.
and that may be so,
Yes.
and part of it is creating the record to show that we tried. This is really the only person who would respond to this particular.
So my question is, sorry, maybe possibly we can get a blessing from the state, if you will, to accept the bid. Would that make a difference?
I think it's,
As far as JCAP goes, whatever town policy is for procurement, they don't care.
yeah, it's not JCAP, it's the comptroller's office.
Understood. So maybe we can talk to the comptroller's office possibly and get.
What if the contractors, I'm sorry,
It's okay.
what if the contractor sent a letter and said, I'm not interested? Would that give us the other 2?
Part of the reason why I wanted Donna to follow up with the contractors that we had sent it out originally is I'm trying to build that record for the town so that if we end up in a situation where we go with that single bid that we've got and we can't get any more, that when that audit comes in and they take a look at what we did in this particular situation, we can show them that we acted reasonably, we tried to get those additional bids, and we just were not able to.
I think maybe it's, but if we got a call out to the comptroller's office and they said they are advised of it, they don't find any problem with it, then we should be okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, that's not the only bid we're having issues with either.
I understand.
The only other caveat I'll put to this, to add a little bit more pressure to this, we had a court review audit of what needs to be done, and the next grant that was gonna go in was to do some more compliance for the offices. So it's sort of important that we really get this next one in, because there's some,
You mean the 3rd phase of this particular grant? I understand, and it's very important, because we're only able to accomplish piecemeal this larger job, and if the funding falls out in the 3rd year of it, it's a big deal.
right, because then we'll be delayed 2 years.
Okay. Well, with Donna's help, possibly, I would be volunteering to call the comptroller's office to try to smooth this over. And Ryan, if you wouldn't mind helping me also.
Do we need something in writing back from the controller?
I
I don't think so, because basically what it's gonna be is there is a sole source. You can go with just
But
one bid.
this isn't really a sole source situation, it's an
law,
exception,
yeah,
I understand.
You know, so it's building a record. I don't know if it'll provide us something in writing. It's like doing a pre-audit audit, you know, it's very,
Okay.
So we have to be careful, we can't release the information from the one tender that we have, because that makes it totally unfair if somebody else comes in.
It defeats the purpose of the bidding
The
process.
dollar amount's already out there.
So we're done.
Did it at the last meeting, I had you went so close.
Very close.
Very close.
How fair is it for that guy that bid now that we're going out looking for other bids?
Okay. Let me ask you this. If I made a motion to approve the bid subject to the comptroller's approval and attorney approval, would you be comfortable with that?
Okay, I guess we'll just keep working on it. Thanks, Bernie.
all right, thank you.
Chief Prevett couldn't be here tonight. We have Officer Ellery around the corner there. Anything from the police?
No, he just asked me to step in case you had anything from us.
No, we're all set.
All right.
Thanks.
Who's the gentleman with you?
It's new officer, part-time, John Edmonds.
Hi, John.
No, put you on the spot. Welcome aboard.
Are you up in Sanborn?
No, I'm from Wakefield. Well,
Close enough. You're getting better. Thank you. Please go.
My first question is to Bob Lannon. I just wanted to know how far along you are with the dog shelter.
I'm waiting to get the site plan from John Sharp.
All right, so I'll work on that. Okay. I do have a letter from the assessor's office that they are, our department is often asked by residents for copies of their deeds. Therefore, I am requesting approval by the town board to collect the same fees the county clerk charges for copies, which is 65 cents per page with a minimum charge of $1.30. This will generate revenue to help offset the cost of our time and resources. Because residents now can come in and she can go on to the system and she can print the deeds for them. But our policy is 25 cents a page, but she's asking for the board to approve it at that amount.
so
Second.
Okay. Good question.
1 second, we just need to double check, are anything regarding those fees in the town code?
No, we approved the fee schedule at the reorganization meeting, and it's 25 cents for photocopies. So they're literally just making them photocopies of what they pull up on it as their deed, and they want to be able to charge the same price that the county's charging.
the question is, are you going to have two different rates?
Yes,
So there'll be 25 cents for regular copies and 65 cents for deeds.
for deeds.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more
I don't
questions?
think we can, just one board, if we can table this until 2 weeks from now, that way we can double check. It may be similar to how we had to do it with the water works. It's in the code, we may have to do it with a local law just for that.
Is it in the code, though? That's the question. You don't believe it is in the code?
No, we said the copyrights at the,
Yeah, the copies are in the code.
we did that, the rate was at the reorganization meeting.
Yeah, we set the rate of reorganization.
But it's not one.
Dollar amount in the code.
So there's no dollar amount, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, no, there's no dollar amount in the code, yeah.
Okay, so it's just that they get a fee for that.
Right.
Okay, so we can do that by resolution. And you should be able to do that by resolution.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any more questions on the issue? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay.
We need more mics. Gotta find someplace in the budget for more.
Got Mike in the water department, got Mike in the rec department.
We need 2 mics down, we need 2 microphones down there, we need 2 microphones over here. So, would you look into that, please?
I just want to make you all aware, I did go out to 3 individual companies to get a cost on how much it's going to cost to, the gas line reaching to our air conditioner and heater is corroded and it needs to be fixed. I did go out and get 3. It's under the procurement policy dollar amount. So I am requesting to be able to go with J.R. Swanson Plumbing for $667. And then they will also, they will do a certain portion, but then the roof company will need to come in and finish. And we should use Murphy Roofing because then it helps sustain the 20-year warranty that we have on the roof for $992.
Okay, so first off, let me get a motion to approve J.R. Swanson Plumbing Company at the price of $667 for the gas line.
So move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, the roof repair, real quick with the attorneys, that would be a sole source because of the warranty?
I think, one, yes, and two, it's under 5,000.
So, okay.
It's a department head approval, you only need one, and the department head can approve it, so we're all set on two, we're all set for two reasons there.
Okay, so we don't have to make a motion on it?
I would do the motion.
Okay, so...
Move for approval,
Okay.
Murphy Roofing, $992.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Thank
Now,
you,
to
Donna.
answer the question of where you're going to pay for that from?
Yes.
The H97?
No, actually, there are insurance fees came in under budget, so there's enough money there that I can request that to cover the cost of it.
Excellent, okay.
You know the number of that account?
Yes, it's A01910040000000.
Could you repeat that back, Mr. Banks?
Okay.
My next issue is, if you all recall at the last board meeting, you were going to, you had discussion in regards to making me the third dog control person. Attorney Parisi looked into it, and it just, you can appoint, and just by resolution, and I can...
With pleasure, I move to appoint Donna Garfinkel to be the third dog control officer to serve in Congress when necessary.
Second. We have a motion.
There was, and I don't know if my email is in here, I can pull it up, there was specific language I would like to tell.
For the purpose of assisting with the control of dogs and enforcement of Article 7 of the
I accept that as an amendment.
law.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I want to thank you, Donna, for stepping up and above and beyond.
Okay, my next item is, the maintenance individual gave his 2 weeks' notice. I posted the job for 10 days. I interviewed approximately 6 people along with Tim Masters. And at this time, I am requesting the town board to confirm my appointment of John Aquino at $14.49 an hour, and if possible, to start Wednesday.
Move for approval to confirm.
Donna, is that going to be the same position that George left?
Yes.
Second. We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. So moved.
The town of Lewiston has received the necessary paperwork from U.S. Census Bureau requesting the town of Lewiston participate in the 2020 census. At this time, I am asking the town board if they are interested in participating.
Steve, can we hold off on this and have some discussion, research? It has to be done in a timely fashion?
I don't believe so. We've already started going to classes, but
You want to table it for...
Just put it on for old business for 2 weeks from now.
Okay. We'll table it, take no action for 2 weeks. Approval of the meeting minutes. I believe that'll be
they're
Okay, so we'll table that as well. So we'll table the approval of the meeting minutes. Audit payment, Councilwoman Ceretto.
I move to approve the regular abstract of claims number 2350 to 2483 and recommend payment in the amount of $236,719.95 plus a post audit of $11,512.95.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Business, the rezone application from Niagara University. I believe we have, Tim, was that? We don't have anything further on that, correct?
Brian just worked on the local law, so talking about trying to set the public hearing up for possibly...
Looking at the 25th of September for the public hearing, and I'll get the law drafted and on your desks at least 10 days prior.
So we should schedule that now.
We can schedule it.
Okay, so we will schedule a public hearing on the rezone application for Niagara University on September 25th at 6 PM. Okay. Can I get a second? All in favor? Aye. The Niagara Bible Church on Bronson Drive, there's nothing at this time to report on that. That's the playground that they reached out to us. We still have to decide on what route we want to take with that, so there's no action on that. The Historic Preservation Law Amendment.
We did receive the statement back from the county. They have approved our recommended local law, so we just need one more continuance of the public hearing, do that at our next appearance, and vote on it at that point.
Okay. So that actually would be, not September 25th. So September 11th. So
No, bro.
September 11th is good?
That's fine.
Okay. So we'll schedule a public hearing for the Historic Preservation Law Amendment approval of that local law for September 11th at 6 PM. Good. And then the electronic message display sign,
Same exact thing. The county board has approved it. You'd have,
public hearing?
yep, the continuation of the public hearing, and you can approve law that evening after the hearing.
How about September 11th at 6:10 PM?
That should be fine.
Okay.
What is the public hearing for on that?
Just to allow all the town residents to voice their opinion on the new law.
We need a new motion on some of it.
We need a motion on the first one,
Oh,
for
I-
September 11th.
Oh, I thought we did. Motion.
Can we
Okay.
schedule two public hearings at the same time?
Yeah.
Move to have both public hearings at 6 PM, one to follow the other.
On September 11th.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Drainage issue on Saunders Settlement Road. Dave Train?
Went out with Ryan today, talked about it, and he's gonna have the engineering firm come out, take a look at it, and we'll address it with
Okay, so no action at this time. And then the video recording equipment, we're still working out, getting the 3 bids for that. Hopefully that'll be taken care of at the next meeting. And the approval for the Sanborn business sign.
I talked to Mr. Rooney after the last meeting and indicated no matter what type of lease we come up with, it's going to be 4 pages, and he just needs to accept that. And we worked with our attorney, and we've made a couple modifications for how much would be the exchange of money. It would be $1 per year for us to pay the owner of the property, and we're having the Sanborn business people sign the agreement because they have agreed to maintain it and landscape it, so they have to be part of it. So we're moving along, and hopefully that gets done very soon.
Yes, I have the copy, I believe I sent out a copy to everyone. It's, I believe you can probably approve the supervisor to sign this evening. It was put on the website, so we can approve his signing of the document this evening, and we can get the other 2 individuals to sign it.
With pleasure. Going to authorize the supervisor to sign the said agreement with the leasing of the property from Paul Wendt for the purpose of locating the Sanborn business sign.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Clerk's correspondence? None. Good. Do you want to talk about, I mean, we brought it up, do you want to talk about the shelter? Because we really haven't brought it up. Just for the public's interest, we are in the process of setting up a dog shelter on the town property here at Town Hall. It would be behind the building. It'll be either a 3 or 4 pen dog. And what it basically is when we get a loose dog, we get a dog call, we hold them for a day or 2, maximum 5 days. Right now, we're in a contract with Wilson, and to save some costs, we're looking into building our own dog kennel, so.
We previously had an agreement with SPCA, that ended, and we had an agreement with a local veterinarian, that ended, and we have one with Wilson, and we're looking to man it ourselves.
Yes.
And our cost is often reimbursed by the owner of the dog.
Yes, the fees, that we're now paying Wilson, so.
We talked about that, that is granted, and apply for a grant.
That's grant fundable through the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Can we move ahead with it before the grant is,
No, because I need all the project description, cost estimates, and
Yeah, and we're just starting, I mean, we're just looking, and we got a meeting with the parties that be, and that's why when you brought it up, I wanted to mention it, so, yeah, it's just getting off the ground right now, so, but I wanted to bring it up. Under my liaison report, let's start right with the water department and Mike Townsend with the hydrants.
The replacement of the existing hydrants on James and Elliott are considered a type 2 action under SEQRA, okay? And simply the board needs to pass a resolution to that effect, and no further actions required after that. Very simple.
so we need a motion to identify it as a type 2 seeker.
A type 2 action under SEQRA, yes.
Here, read that right there, the hydrant.
Replacement of existing fire hydrants is considered a type 2 action under seeker, therefore no further action is required.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. There you go. Hold on.
thank you.
Now, for the record, that's 4 hydrants on James and 1 on Elliott.
Okay. And that's gonna increase the fire flow up there, correct? Because you're tapping into it.
No, hydrants that we can't replace parts on.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
The hydrant on escarpment, or I'm sorry, the circle, I would like to have one installed on the 16-inch water line. I got 2 bids, one for $5,700 and the other one for $13,700. I couldn't get a third bid because there's only 2 companies in the area to do this, protect water lines. Morreale is the one for $5,700. I would like to have that.
I'm not up in this at all.
Well, basically what it is, it's gonna take care of a fire flow issue at the Circle in Bronson.
Yes, I would like to have it installed at the property line between 817 the Circle and 823 the Circle.
Okay. And,
Why are these outside the grant? Can we do?
no, this is just a fire hydrant, or just a replacement. We're tapping into the 16-inch.
Something that I wouldn't want to wait for a grant to go through. I would like to get it in as soon as possible.
Now, with the 2 bids, they're the only 2 around that do it. Are you comfortable with that?
I'm not comfortable approving anything on the spot right now without taking a look at the bids themselves and the request for the bids. It sounds like this is a situation where, this sounds like a situation where you take the lowest of the 2, and there's only 2 companies that provide it. This is clearly under that exception in state law, but I don't know anything about this. I just don't have any background on this.
Can we approve it pending attorney approval? I mean, can we, or do you not want to go there?
I would table it for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then just let
Not
Mr.
a
Campbell
problem.
and myself look into it.
Okay, so we'll do that. We'll table it for 2 weeks and come back. Thank you, Mike. Okay, this is from Jeanette Colasano. Unfortunately, she cannot be here tonight. So dear board members, it is with much regret to inform you that Donald Butkus has decided to retire. Don has been a dedicated employee of the town of Lewiston Senior Center since February 4th, 2013. Attached is Don's letter. His last day will be September 6th, 2017. Thank you in advance. I have asked Donna to add this to the agenda. So, with regret. Oh, you want to?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, it is with regret that we accept the resignation of Donald Butkus.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can you tell me again the date?
Effective September, his last day will be September 6th. And then,
At the same time?
yeah. Also, to whom it may concern, I would like to give notice that my final day of employment will be September 15th, 2017. This will act as my 3-week notice. Thank you very much for all the opportunities that this position has afforded me, and that is from Felicia Kinney in the courts. So it is with regret that we accept the resignation of Felicia Kinney effective September 15th, 2017. So, second, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
So from Jeanette Calisano with posting, advertising, interviewing process complete. I would like to hire Randy Gorska as a part-time caravan driver to replace Donald Butkus, starting September 6th at a rate of $11.25 an hour.
Let's do September 7th.
Okay,
Yeah.
September 7th.
Okay.
Second.
We have a second. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Do you need any special license for this type of van, or a regular driver's license?
I think this is, because it's just a small van, I think it's a regular one, but I'm sure if he had to have that, Jeanette would make sure he did. She wouldn't hire anyone where seniors would be driving around in the vehicle that weren't capable of driving it.
Okay. Also, the town of Cambria, notice of lead agency designation.
I looked it over and I have no objection to it. It's just given that saying we have no objection. We'll still stay in the loop. This is an amendment to the town solar law. Ryan is aware of it and he's going to touch base with them before we move ahead with what we're doing.
Okay, so we don't need to take any action on it. Just a notice.
Received and filed and no objections.
Okay. Okay, finance. Marty Bozzi.
I have 2 items for budget adjustments that I sent to you. Both of them relate to the highway, and he's wanting to increase his training budgets in both situations. The one is from the highway, or is for the highway fund contractual, and the other one is the general repairs, safety and training in the DB fund. I gave those to you prior, and they were in your packets. If you could approve that, I'd appreciate it.
Move for approval without reading all the zeros.
All in favor? Aye.
Marty, just for clarification, the money's going from the highway contractual to the insurance line?
No, it's going from the insurance line, which was under budget, and we're adding the $2,000 to his training because he has an additional training he wants to do. His objective here is to find alternative ways of preserving our roads, and there's a training he really wants to go to.
And then again, is it going from seasonal help to general repairs?
Yes. If you remember last, we had increased his seasonal, but his seasonal had to go back to work, so that money's there. So it's a perfect opportunity to move it into training because he has several individuals he wants to go to welding school.
Just wanted the record to be clear where which
Did you mean back to work or back to school?
They went back to school.
Yes, okay.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you said back to work. Seasonal.
What?
Right.
Okay. Oh, I need you to vote on that.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Okay. A couple of changes I want to make in the general ledger. I want to add 2 additional accounts. One is within the police department. They get quite a few grants, and I want to move the expenditure out of their contractual and use a grant expenditure account, which is just adding a number 2200 to the last 4 digits of their contractual expenditure. And that's just to help monitor what's coming in and what's going out, and to not increase his contractual budget as such, but I just need the account to exist. It is the way we do it with in the courts with their grants. It's just, we've never set up a separate account. We've always put it through the contractual or through a T account, which it does not belong there. So I just want to add the account.
Make a motion to add the account as itemized by the finance director.
So it's B00312004002200.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
The other account or accounts that I want to add, if you remember correctly, we had set up, oh, wait a second, let me back up a little bit. With the court's grants expenditures, I'd like to change the account number to that. It has a separate account that is the A00111004000200. I want to change it so that those last 2 digits are the 2200, so that I can do searches on grants just based on that project code. So I want to change that number in the general ledger.
Move to create the account as detailed by finance director.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Okay. And Now, in addition, during the year, we've already approved setting out the dollar amounts that are paid to gas and electric in a separate account, but we did not set up gasoline and diesel fuel. These are numbers that we need for our AUD, and we also need it for the hydro money that gets reimbursed. So we want to segregate that so that we have those numbers based on the general ledger. So again, I want to set up the general ledger account to add the digits. I think it, I don't know about that.
Marty, we're saying that you want to segregate gas and diesel from everything else, or from one another?
Contractual.
We're saying you have two counts, one for
No, just
gas and
one
one for diesel?
So where the gas and electric is the 3,500 sub-account, we're going to make 3,510 being the gas and diesel
Together.
together. Yes.
Make a motion to create the account as per finance director.
And so it'll be several accounts, but they'll all have that 3,510.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
The last thing I wanted to mention to everybody, and I have sent you emails so that you know about it, but for the public record, is we did renew the ban, or are in the process of. We went out to bids, and the bid was awarded on August 24th, I believe it was. Key Bank was the winner of that net interest rate of 1.48% on that. The summary of the bid results, I believe, has already gone online. And, so the actual closing will occur on September 7th. For your information.
Thanks for all your help.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
Thank you, Marty. Okay, Councilman Bax.
On my agenda, we have 3 individuals who have requested reimbursement of the sewage portion of their water bill. I have to recuse myself from one, that being that Maria Versa, she is my aunt. So I'll handle the other 2, and then allow the board to handle the third. My understanding is that there is a request from a Robert Norman. He has provided us with the pool liner replacement receipt, and my understanding is Mr. Rutherford has approved this particular credit of $118.05 to Robert Norman. 5109 Dana Drive, Lewiston.
Okay.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
The second one is Jennifer Russell of 539 Greenfield Road, Lewiston. She has requested a pool liner reimbursement for her water bill. Unfortunately, she did not submit a receipt for the work that was done, so I'd like to table this to our next board meeting, possibly have either the town clerk or Mr. Ritter reach out to her for that information.
Okay. Table. And then the next one is your relative.
So I would recuse myself on that.
So I'll take over the one at Maria Aversa at 479 Barton Drive. She's looking for, it's a 12,000 gallon pool. She's asking for forgiveness on her sewer tax. It does not fit the town rules for sewer forgiveness. Is that correct?
Yes.
Jeff? Okay. So at this time, we'll take no action on it.
Mr. Ritter will let her know.
And then I have one addition to my agenda, which may not be self-evident from the document in front of you. Back in 2014, some work was conducted on Lower River Road at the property of Jim Bowen, Brownlee, thank you, Brownlee. And the background on this issue is that there was a problem with a water line to the house. The town had come and turned, and again, I'm speaking third hand on this, so this is not gospel by any stretch of the imagination, but the town had come and turned on a water valve. There was no water at the house. The quick assessment was that there was a problem between the road and the meter, so at the house, thus requiring a new line be put in. Mr. Brick his business was called. They started to install a new line and in fact did so. And upon completing their work, recognized that there were, or identified a second valve that was not known to the town. When they turned that on, water was then flowing to the house. So with that information, the homeowner refused to pay Mr. Brick's bill. After learning about this just recently, I thought that the town might have some responsibility in making H.W. Brick and Sons whole. So the invoice for that unfortunately unnecessary water line was $1,659.74. And I'd like to make a motion to pay that out of the water budget.
Second for discussion?
Yes, we have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Michael's opinion? Water department?
I was not involved, I'm not aware. I've heard it third hand also. If that's the case, the town probably is liable.
That's my understanding.
I know Jim Masters is constantly telling us about, he wants as-built drawings on file in the town. If we had had as-built drawings, we would have known where that valve was. And since we didn't, we moved ahead with this project, and there's two people that have been inconvenienced, the homeowner and the service. I believe we should pay the bill.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
I have a question about that. Has the insurance company been approached on this, our insurance company?
I don't believe so.
What do our attorneys say? What do you guys think?
I would like the opportunity to look into it, to see if a town employee did in fact, if we can keep that information, and then two, I guess just running through my head quickly, why didn't the homeowner ask this company, hey, what's wrong with my water, figure it out? Instead the homeowner called and said, replace my water line, he says, okay, and he just does it?
No, I think that it was done at the direction of the town. The town directed him to have a new water line put in because it was on private property. It was the homeowner's expense.
Was that done orally or in writing? I mean, did we track that down and make sure that the town did give that advice to the homeowner?
You know what, there were enough people surrounding it that I'm certain that, I should say that I'm confident that that's probably what happened. Who the individuals are, I think the water department would be able to, Mr. Townsend would be able to better speak to that. And again, I don't think anyone's trying to throw anyone under the bus, you know, by saying someone made a mistake, but it wasn't the homeowner and it wasn't Mr. Brick's company. So I would make my motion subject to attorney approval on the subject.
That's fine with me. Marty, what's our insurance deductible? Do you know off the top of your
Well,
head?
because would be employee, that's not just a normal loss or
It's not casual.
damage property. I don't know, I can't tell you that. But I would at least discuss it with our insurance to make sure that it's not covered by our insurance.
I'm thinking such a small claim would be worth it to go through insurance.
That would be my guess also.
Rob, you had a question?
I'd like to see a tape to do a little investigating on it.
You know, I have no objection to that. I mean, I think,
Brian, would you mind looking into it? I mean, I don't know who you
Well,
are.
Mike would be your
Mike,
person.
do you know anything on this, or?
I don't, I can't, it was prior to my being in the department.
I mean, we don't have anything in writing then, so it's
The
just.
person that was in charge is retired, and I don't know who the employees were there. There's two water employees that have since retired.
Okay, well, we could table it.
Yeah.
I mean, we could table it for 2 weeks and we'll do some research and,
This has been lingering for a long time, so I think it needs to be addressed post haste.
yes, I agree. So we'll table that for 2 weeks.
thanks. I just want to bring it to everyone's attention.
And Councilwoman Ceretto?
I have two things. The senior center is having a blood drive tomorrow from 3 to 7. No appointment necessary, just go in. And I believe all of the donors will receive a free t-shirt. So that's one thing. The other thing I would like to mention is I received my debit card from KeyBank. And on Facebook, there were a lot of people that had opened the envelope and didn't realize that it was real money. So I'm just mentioning, if maybe you guys can put it back in the paper and let people know that it is there, people are getting their card. I can thank everyone for free groceries for 4 days.
Not a week.
Not a week,
Just
not at my house.
You have to go back a couple boards to thank them for doing it.
Well, thank everyone, but.
And to add to that, the key is, if they threw it out, if they cut it up, if they got rid of it, and I reach out to the papers, they still can get their money. It's not one of those things where it's gone. So all they have to do is either call Key Bank or call the town hall here. There'll be, depending on how they got rid of it. I know a family member of mine cut it up and was able to get it at Key Bank, so, yeah.
And one of the things was unfortunate, the way the papers were in the envelope.
Yeah.
The first thing out wasn't your letter.
Right.
It had been the first thing that popped out. I think more people would have understood.
I
It wasn't
agree.
a solicitation for a new credit card.
Correct.
But when you started reading all the fine print, oh, they're giving me more credit, thank you. No.
Yeah.
And even if they cut it up, they could take it into, they can still call in, get activated, take the cut up pieces to Key Bank, and they will give them the $153.
Right.
And I gotta ask one question. Mrs. Warren, did you get yours?
I most certainly did, and have given a lot of it away.
Good. I just wanna make sure.
I got $3.
Councilman Geiben.
As you stated, moving ahead with the PEG, and hopefully we'll get it resolved soon.
Councilman Morreale.
I have 3 items on the agenda. I'd like to see a report on the Caparella. We're going to table that. She needs to come back and talk to the attorney on a couple of problems with that project. So that one will be tabled. And the second one, for Roman, I can get a little help on the rest.
You want to try it first?
Because Nico, it's unfair. I think that's close.
Mr. K.
Yes.
Because you're uncle.
Yes, okay. Negative deck. Environmental Commission met on June 22nd. The above caption project was reviewed at the June 19th, 2017 Environmental Commission meeting. The Commission recommends a negative declaration to the town board. Motion.
There's a motion and a second.
Discussion.
Discussion?
Wasn't there some concern that they reviewed a map that has changed since?
No,
then?
yes. Okay, yeah, so we have a motion and a second. Any more questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
Then the subdivision approval, the planning board meeting in regular session on August 17th, 2017, classified as a major subdivision to be treated as a minor subdivision. A request from Roman Cosmico for 9 lots on Calkins and Creek Road, SBL number 7300-1-30. The planning board recommends approval of the final plat as presented. I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Third on my agenda is the Smith Upper Mountain Road. We're going to table that, and we're going to set a public hearing for 2 weeks at the work session. And if we could set that up. What is the date on that?
11,
The 11th.
September 11th.
So it'll be a public hearing on the 11th.
Do you want to schedule that for 5:30?
Yes, that might be a good idea.
Yeah. So
5:30
yeah.
on the 11th, a public hearing.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. You know, upcoming boards, commissions, meetings, real quick, I'll zip through those and then I'll go to the resident statements. Town hall offices will be closed on Labor Day, September 4th, 2017. The regular town board meeting work session will be September 11th, 2017 at 6 p.m. The Environmental Commission is September 12th at 7 p.m. Zoning Board of Appeals, September 14th, 7 p.m. Parks and Rec Advisory Committee, September 20th at 7 p.m. Planning Board, September 21st, 6:30 p.m. And our regular town board meeting will be September 25th, 2017 at 6 p.m.
Did you add to your agenda the wood cutting bit?
No, we didn't. Mike, did you want to address that, or did we need
Sorry?
the bid, the wood, the tree removal? Were you going to address that?
Yes. We did close the sealed bid. There was only 2 bids. I talked to Mr. Catalano before the meeting. We were going to discuss bringing in the bidder, make sure that the bid was apples to apples, hopefully ready to approve it for the next meeting.
Okay, so right now, there's no action tonight.
No. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I apologize, we do have one more. This is from Judge Sheeran and Judge G. They sent a letter. Anthony SEQRA III is moved back to Lewiston as of this date. We are requesting to have him placed back on the active court security officer list. We would like to start him on the September schedule. His rate of pay will be consistent with that of his previous employment with the town of Lewiston. Yeah, I'm going to table this one. Yeah, we're going to table this one too. Sign-in sheet, so we'll go to resident statements. Whoever would like to speak, Rosemary Warren.
I went down to the Bluegrass as Mrs. Sanborn down in Lewiston, and I talked to everybody and said, are you from the town of Lewiston? If they did, I said, you're going to get a white envelope, don't throw it away, it'll be a debit card or whatever for $153. The other thing I want to say though is the board now, we still got 40 years more of getting power money from the power for our residents. It was for 50, we've used up about 10. Now, the board has decided to use it for projects instead of, it was too difficult, I guess, to give us the money. The only thing that bothers me about the projects is that it's going to be like you 5 people deciding where it goes. So I really think that kind of look down the road that either it should be for projects all over the town, I'm still not sold on this, and it should be a public commission. It should be a committee. It should be a public committee that is going to decide this. Like one, I might be from Sanborn, Paulette might be from where she is, a person from the village, and we would come to consensus. You would give us some ideas of where you want these projects, the highway, the parks, and then we kind of would still decide it. I still think that would be fair than just letting you 5 people decide it, because I think it'd be. Now, I spoke to one woman at the reservation and said, you've got the $153 coming. Now, I don't know if they have it coming or not. He's shaking his head no, so maybe he can lighten me a little more on it. But they use electricity, and the other thing I told her, more of their land was taken than the rest of the town, I felt. Years ago, there were pictures of them kind of standing in front of the surveyors. The women were standing in front of the surveyors so that they couldn't take their land and survey it, if you remember, and that's long back. But as I said, so kind of think about that. And I still think that, maybe the Tuscaroras do deserve some money.
Thank you, Mrs. Warren. Would anybody else like to speak? Go ahead, Mrs. Maggard.
Marjorie Maggard, Garlow Road. I just wanted to find out if anybody here received a flyer along with the Sentinel. And the flyer stated at the very last paragraph on it, stated that because of taxes being issued for the town of Lewiston, we would no longer get any kickback from the state. Is that true?
No.
There was a big flyer.
No, it's
going
not
around.
true. I'm not going to discuss the flyer.
No,
That's
I'm
political
just-
banter, is what
I'm
it is,
just
but
saying.
it's not true.
That everybody got a flyer.
Not everybody got
So, that's why I was wondering if everybody else did.
it. It's not true.
Okay.
And I believe it's going to be addressed.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay, the other thing is the Historical Preservation Commission. We have spent a great deal of time putting these laws together and working with the state to get them correct. It has been, it will be, 3.5 months before this board will be able to approve it. I just don't understand what is taking so long. I can't understand it. 3.5 months from the time that the laws were given to you guys until September the 11th. And on September 11th, will you be able to vote on it after the public hearing? You will?
Yes, we
You
will.
have the final copy.
Yes.
The final copy was provided sometime ago.
There are no more road lots.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Maggard. Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Again, I'd like to remind you the blood drive tomorrow from 3 to 7. It's very important, and have a good evening.